Hey guys, I'm Shariq Fazil Ahamed, meeting you again in Finding the Oneness channel. According to the Bushongo group of Central Africa, they believed before the universe there was darkness, water, and God. God, because of pain in his stomach, vomited up the sun, and that sun dried up some of the water, giving us land. And then the God vomited the moon, the leopard, the crocodile, the animals, and finally the man. At least this Bushongo people of Africa have a story as to what happened before the universe, which the modern day science does not have. Welcome to Finding the Oneness channel. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am Shariq Fazil Ahamed. In this channel, we add once a week a video that is generic, that is more about science and finding the oneness. We also add Islamic content which clarifies the misconceptions about Islam by the non-Muslims and the Muslims themselves. Thank you so much for joining in. We will go into the depth of who created God. What was there before any of this happened? Let's go into it. The first thing is this. We saw in the last video about God, a creation or the creator. We gave many examples as to why there has to be a creator. Now coming back to this, what the science says is the whole universe came out of nowhere. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Which means the scientists say that the whole universe, the whole existence of the mankind came out of nothing. See, for the example of you, if I have nothing, if I break nothing, I get nothing. If I cut nothing, I get nothing. If I smash nothing, I get nothing. This is the basic understanding and the basic logic. But what science says is something came out of nothing, and then it was inflated into a structure called as universe. Well, let's go forward as to see what Aristotle, the great philosopher, says. He does not want to believe in the start of the universe. So he says universe was forever there. Okay, you don't want to get into arguments, you don't want to get into contradictions, maybe. Fine. What Immanuel Kant, this guy is the one who said something which many of the scientists still follow to the date. He said about thesis and antithesis. What he said is, he said the time is absolute. The time is absolute. And so what the guys who believe in God say, that has contradictions, and what Aristotle says that it was forever, it has contradictions as well, as per the Immanuel Kant, which many scientists believed. Then Einstein came and said the theory of relativity, where he proved that the time is not absolute. Then Edwin Hubble came. So Edwin Hubble in 1920s, he constructed a 100-inch microscope. He placed it on the Mount Wilson and he was observing the galaxy. Then he said, the universe is expanding, which is amazing. Just think, the universe is expanding as we talk. It is expanding. And this created a whole big vibe in the science, and many of the people still to the date agree that this is the most intellectual discovery of the 20th century. So now going forward, the scientists don't agree on the beginning of the universe because it will just make the physics break down. So on a logical basis, if you say, okay, something cannot come out of nothing, so there was someone who created this, there was God. So one of my followers, one of my viewers asked me, say for the sake of an argument, I believe there is a God. Who created the God? Very logical question. And it seemed very logical to me when before 7 or 8 years, I asked this question myself. If God created the universe, if God created the mankind, then who created the God? Here is the answer for you. Even if you are not able to accept it, maybe you have different perception, I totally respect it. But this is my perspective, this is my opinion on what I have researched on it for years and years. So, when or who created God? This is about beyond the imagination. This is what happened before the universe came into existence. So the common question here is, we take the factor of time into existence. See, time, space and matter is something that happens within this universe. So this is the universe, and time, the seconds that move, the space, the matters, the objects that we have, everything is within this universe. And if there has to be a creator, he has to be outside it. You get it? This is a laptop. If I created it, it is outside. I'm outside here, right? So basically, whatever I speak of as of now, just please note it down. This is not only my opinions. I've learned from many people. I've heard, read, saw many people, and then I thought about it, and there are like my opinions mixed as well. Going forward, so if there was a God who was able to fit into the mind of a human, as to like how he created the universe, how he created the mankind, how he created the oceans, the mountains, how he planted the mountains, how he created the solar system, the galaxy, and how does a God look like, when did he start to have, if he starts to make sense, like there is a limit for everything that the human can do. For example, in my eyes, say for example, I'm looking like this, I can see for towards this direction at a distance, at a certain distance. I cannot see what happens beyond 100 kilometers or 200 kilometers, right? The same with my ears. I cannot hear what happens 50 kilometers away from here. Same way, the human brain has its own limitations, like its own limit. It cannot go beyond a certain imagination. And if I have to worship a God, then that God has to be something or someone beyond imagination. You get it? Or else the God is not worth worshipping. So if you ask me, then who created God? Tell me the answer for who created God. How can the God not have a start? And I researched on it and I found that the God cannot be created. Like, he is the ultimate. He is the creator. He cannot be created. And when I said to my other friends, they were like, are you mad? How can, if you say the universe is created, how can the God be not created? This is the point that you need to understand. Focus on this. Be attentive. Give all your attention right now. The law of conservation of energy. If you believe in science, the law of conservation of energy says, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. The science says it. And you believe it. Why? Because it's science. If energy can neither be created and nor destroyed, then why can't the God be? So if you ask me, do you mean that God is energy? I don't know. Maybe, may not be. I don't want to go into those details. But if there is something that you know of as a human, that this cannot be created nor destroyed, there is something that is amazing. There is something that is phenomenal about the Creator who created us, that He cannot be created nor destroyed. This is the basic understanding that I as a human can think of. There might be something more to it. I don't know. So in my perception, I think about this because what do you know about universe? Have you seen the universe? All you have seen is the pictures. Have you seen the stars? Only from here. Have you seen the galaxy? No. Have you seen the planets? No. So you believe in whatever the science says, whatever the NASA says. I respect it, but that does not mean you have seen it with your own eyes. You believe in someone saying it. For example, the black hole picture that they released, how do you know it is the picture of the real black hole? Or how do you even know that there is something called as black hole existing? You are believing in someone's word. Now start to make sense for your own words, for your own brain and what it says. Just think about this one thing. The final thing that I want to put it. If this brain of yours is just a combination of few chemical reactions that happened billions of years ago, then how do you think that so much of emotions, jealousy, envy, feelings, love, hate, respect, all the feelings, all the rationality is inside this brain of yours? And do you think with this brain that came out of nothing, nowhere, and because of a chemical explosion that happened before billions of years, you can figure out that who your creator is and how he came into existence? You tell me. This was my opinion. This was my perception. And I would love to know, like, what do you think about it? And what is your view? What do you think? Do you think there is God? Do you think he came out of nothing? Probably. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to connect to me, you can connect on Instagram at Finding the Oneness channel. And if you have any suggestions, please let me know. I would love to talk about it. Thank you so much for watching. Shariq Fazil Ahamed.